In this video, I'm going to show you how to get set up with Node.js. Now this could not be any easier, but I did want to take a video just to talk a little bit about getting set up and what it means. So in modern web development, we're frequently using Node.js for all sorts of things. In fact, the package manager NPM has now become one of the largest ecosystems of open source libraries in the entire world. This means that if you're working with JavaScript packages, then NPM is going to be the way that you interact with these packages, and therefore you will need Node installed, even if you're not writing server-side code with Node at all even. So what we want to do here is just head to nodejs.org, and you can see that we're greeted with a download page. Now there's more technical ways to download and install Node.js, but as you can see here, it's detected that I'm using OS X or Mac OS. And if you're on Windows, it's going to detect the same thing. Because of that, you're greeted with an installer. Basically, here's the way to download for Mac OS, and here's the current release. Now it recommends 6.11.4 for most users. However, I end up usually installing the current release, and at this time of recording this video is at 8.7. So you can go ahead and select your version. Like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and select the latest version, and it's going to download a package installer. Now on OS X or Mac OS, you simply just need to double click that installer. On Windows, it's the same deal, just a different type of installer. And it's going to install Node on your system. I already have Node installed on my computer, so I'm not going to download and run through the package installer, but you download the package, you double click on it, it installs on your system, and that's that. So go ahead and select your download, get that going, install it on the package manager, pause this video, and pick it up when you're done. Now let's talk a little bit about what that gets you. Well, if you were to head to your command line, and I can just open my terminal. I use iTerm, however, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to open the standard terminal on OS X. And you don't have to know the command line for this video, however, I am going to be making another fundamentals video on just basic usage of the command line. It's something you're going to want to learn. And so we have our terminal here, and we can just type node-v. This is going to show that we've installed the current version of Node on our computer. So it's at 8.2.1 currently. And if we were to simply type Node without the V here and hit enter, we'd actually have access to real JavaScript. So you could type console.log hi, and you could see its output hi. Now, this isn't necessarily super useful, but if you want to try out some code, you can do so in a Node environment here. Now, what is Node.js? Well, you could get a lot of descriptions about the technical aspect of what makes Node Node, but the most important part of understanding Node.js is really just that it's JavaScript that runs on the server. And what that means, if you're not familiar with that terminology, is have you ever built a site in WordPress or Drupal or any of these systems? Well, you have your front-end code, which is your HTML, your CSS, that sort of stuff, but you have your back-end code as well, which in WordPress or Drupal is the PHP. That code's run on the server and generates the HTML that you view when you visit a page. Now, Node.js allows you to use JavaScript on the server the same way you would with PHP, Python, or Ruby. Now there's some technical reasons why this is really cool. However, personally, the killer feature for me is being able to write the same language on your server side as your client side. As in, you can write JavaScript in both places, and you no longer have to learn the idiosyncrasies of two languages, right? You no longer have to keep track of the weird things about PHP and the weird things about JavaScript, just the weird things about JavaScript. So this is how and why we would install Node.js. Now keep in mind, I mentioned before, we also now have access to the package manager NPM. We can access that with NPM. You can even do npm-v to see the current version of NPM. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about downloading packages with NPM right now, but I will have another foundational video that goes over all of the different options and reasons why you would use NPM as your package manager. And we'll even talk quite a bit about package files and what's up with the Node modules folder. So in 2017 here and getting into the future, Node.js is no longer just sort of a Node skill, right? You don't learn Node.js just to learn it. Having basic Node understanding, especially with this low-level stuff like NPM and getting it installed and basic usage of JavaScript here, is going to be absolutely required in the future for being a well-rounded developer. So don't miss out, and if JavaScript scares you, this stuff is not too scary. You run a couple of commands and you are good to go. So in further essential skills JavaScript videos, we are going to be talking about the Node packages ecosystem. I'm also going to be going into various techniques for code modules such as importing and exporting, and we'll be going into absolute fundamental skills for JavaScript. These aren't your standard JavaScript tutorials, but more or less things you need to know to be working in other platforms. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you would like premium content in terms of how to build real life applications, head to leveluptutorials.com/pro, and you can become a Level Up Pro, get access to a whole bunch of premium exclusive content that we're going to show you how to build both just client-side applications as well as client and server-side applications, doing real-time stuff. We're going to be building Instagram clones, we're going to be building movie databases, all sorts of cool stuff. So check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.